When we talk about achieving our biggest goals, the very first step always begins with clarity. Without a clear vision of where you want to go, it doesn't matter how much energy, talent, or even luck you have, because you won't know where to direct it. Imagine trying to drive to a destination without knowing the address. You might keep moving, you might spend hours on the road, but you will never truly arrive because you don't know where you're supposed to end up. That's the difference between simply being busy and being effective. Clarity gives your mind focus, your actions direction, and your life purpose. Defining your vision with precision is about more than just saying, "I want to be successful," or "I want to be happy." Those statements are vague and lack the detail that the brain needs to create a real plan. Success to one person might mean financial freedom, while to another it might mean deep relationships, health, or creative expression. Happiness to you might not look anything like happiness to someone else. If you can't describe your vision with specific words, images, or even a timeline, then it will always stay a dream floating in your imagination instead of becoming a reality you can touch. Clarity is powerful because it directs your energy. Human beings have limited energy and focus each day. When you wake up and you're unclear about your goals, you scatter that energy across random tasks, distractions, and urgent demands that don't really move your life forward. But when you wake up with a crystal clear vision of what you want, you are able to filter everything through that vision. You start asking, does this bring me closer to my goal, or does it take me further away? That simple question becomes your compass. With clarity, you no longer waste time chasing things that look important but don't truly matter. One of the most effective ways to gain clarity is by writing down your goals in vivid detail. Don't just say, "I want to lose weight." Say, "I want to be 160 pounds, full of energy, able to run 3 miles without stopping, and fit into the clothes I love by December 31st. Don't just say, "I want to be successful in my career." Say, "I want to earn a leadership position in my company with a salary that allows me to travel twice a year, save for my future, and provide stability for my family." The more precise you are, the more your mind has something real to work toward. The brain loves specifics because specifics can be broken down into steps. Another aspect of clarity is emotional connection. It's not enough to know what you want. You need to know why you want it. If your vision doesn't excite you, if it doesn't give you a reason to push through obstacles, then it won't last when challenges show up. Connect your vision to your deepest values, your family, your freedom, your health, your sense of contribution. When your why is strong, your how becomes easier to figure out. You can endure long nights, setbacks, and rejections because you're not just chasing a goal. You're pursuing something that truly matters to you. Clarity also helps you communicate your vision to others. No great achievement is ever done alone. Whether you're building a business, improving your health, or creating art, you'll need people to support you, encourage you, or even join you on the journey. When you can articulate your vision with precision, it becomes easier for others to understand it and align with you. People are naturally drawn to leaders who know where they're going. Your clarity inspires confidence. But clarity doesn't mean perfection. You don't have to know every single detail of the journey before you start. What matters most is that you know the destination. It's like setting a GPS. You don't have to memorize every turn. You just need to know the final address. As you move forward, life will show you the next step, the right opportunities, and even the right people. Without clarity, you won't even recognize those opportunities when they appear. The truth is, your life is too short and too valuable to live without direction. Every day you spend wandering without purpose is a day you can never get back. When you decide to define your vision with precision, you take control of your future. You stop drifting and you start living intentionally. You tell your mind, your body, and even the universe, this is where I'm going, and I will not stop until I get there. That kind of certainty creates momentum, and once you have momentum, you become unstoppable. So ask yourself right now, do I know exactly what I want? Can I describe it clearly enough that someone else could picture it in their mind? If not, take the time today to sit in silence, to reflect, to write, and to define your vision with clarity. Because once you see it clearly, you'll realize that it was never impossible. It was simply waiting for you to decide. Eliminating distractions is one of the most powerful steps you can take if you truly want to stay focused and achieve your biggest goal. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Our phones buzz with notifications. Social media constantly pulls for attention. Television and entertainment consume hours. And even the people around us may unintentionally derail our focus. Without realizing it, you can spend days, weeks, and even years giving your energy away to things that don't serve your dreams. That's why learning how to guard your mind and environment is not just important. It's essential for success. When you allow distractions to dominate your life, your attention becomes fragmented. You may feel busy all the time, yet you end the day realizing you didn't move closer to your goals. This is because being busy and being productive are two very different things. Productivity is about progress toward what matters most, while busyness is often just activity without results. Distractions trick your brain into feeling like you're accomplishing something, but in reality, they steal the precious time and focus you need for meaningful progress. To guard your mind, you first need awareness. You have to be honest with yourself about what steals your focus the most. For some people, it's their phone, endless scrolling through social media, or reacting to every notification. For others, it might be constant interruptions from people who don't respect boundaries. Sometimes distractions aren't external, they're internal. Doubts, fears, and negative self-talk can be just as damaging as a text message or a noisy environment. When your mind gets cluttered, it's impossible to stay focused on your vision. Awareness is the first step because you cannot change what you don't recognize. Once you're aware of your biggest distractions, you must create systems to protect your focus. For instance, if your phone constantly pulls you away from your work, set specific times to check it instead of keeping it by your side all day. Turn off unnecessary notifications, or even put your phone in another room when you need deep focus. If people around you often interrupt, learn to set clear boundaries. You don't have to be rude, but you must be firm. I need 2 hours to focus right now. After that, I'll be available. By communicating your priorities, you teach others to respect your focus. Guarding your environment is just as important. Your physical surroundings influence your state of mind. If your workspace is full of clutter, your brain unconsciously feels overwhelmed. A clean, organized environment reduces mental noise and allows you to concentrate better. Likewise, if you're surrounded by people who are negative, lazy, or constantly gossiping, that energy seeps into you. Protecting your environment means intentionally surrounding yourself with people who lift you up, challenge you, and encourage your growth. Success is rarely created in toxic environments. It thrives where discipline and positivity exist. Another way to eliminate distractions is through structure. When you don't have a plan for your day, distractions easily fill the empty space. But when you schedule your priorities, you leave little room for time, wasting activities. Block out time for deep work, exercise, learning, and rest. Treat these blocks like appointments you can't miss. Structure doesn't restrict your freedom, it protects it. By mastering your schedule, you create space for both productivity and relaxation without guilt. The truth is, every distraction has a cost. Every time you stop working to check a notification, it takes several minutes for your brain to return to the same level of focus. Over time, this constant switching drains your energy and decreases the quality of your work. Imagine what would happen if you cut out just half of these distractions each day. The hours you gain back could completely transform your progress in a few months. But eliminating distractions isn't only about cutting things out, it's about replacing them with better inputs. Instead of scrolling through social media, read something that fuels your mind. Instead of gossip, engage in conversations that inspire growth. Instead of wasting hours on entertainment, invest that time into learning skills that bring you closer to your vision. Your focus grows stronger when you feed your mind with the right information and surround yourself with the right influences. Ultimately, protecting your focus is about taking responsibility. You cannot blame the world for distracting you because distractions will always exist. The question is whether you will discipline yourself to rise above them. When you guard your mind and your environment, you create the mental clarity and energy needed to pursue your vision without interruption. You give yourself the power to work with intensity, to stay consistent, and to accomplish in months what others take years to achieve. Distractions are not harmless, they are silent thieves. They steal dreams, opportunities, and potential from people who never learn to control them. But the moment you decide to take control, you separate yourself from the majority who waste their lives on things that don't matter. You step into the small group of people who achieve their goals, not because they're more talented or lucky, but because they protected their focus. And when you eliminate distractions, you will find that you don't just make progress, you make unstoppable momentum toward your biggest goals. Most people begin their journey toward success with a burst of motivation. They feel inspired after reading a book, watching a video, or attending a seminar, and for a while they take action with excitement. But motivation is temporary. It fades when challenges appear, when results don't come as quickly as expected, or when daily life becomes overwhelming. That's why relying on motivation alone is a dangerous trap. The real foundation of success is discipline. Discipline means doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It's about building consistent daily habits that keep you moving forward regardless of your mood. Think about how often people make New Year's resolutions. In January, gyms are packed, journals are filled with goals, and everyone seems determined to make a change. But by February, most of that energy disappears. Why? Because motivation wore off. Only those who built discipline, the ability to stick to routines and habits, continue showing up day after day. Motivation is like a spark. Discipline is the fuel that keeps the fire burning long after the spark fades. Without discipline, every dream eventually dies when the excitement wears off. Discipline is about training your mind and body to obey your long-term vision rather than your short-term feelings. Feelings are unreliable. They change depending on sleep, mood, weather, and countless other factors. If you wait until you feel motivated to take action, you'll rarely act consistently. But when you are disciplined, your actions are no longer controlled by your feelings. You don't ask, "Do I feel like doing this?" Instead, you tell yourself, "This is who I am and this is what I do." That identity shift is powerful. You stop negotiating with your excuses and start following through on your commitments. One of the best ways to build discipline is through small, consistent habits. People often make the mistake of trying to change everything overnight. They set massive goals, overhaul their entire routine, and then burn out because the change is too drastic. Real discipline is built one habit at a time. Start with something small that reinforces your vision. If your goal is fitness, commit to 10 minutes of exercise daily, no matter what. If your goal is writing a book, commit to writing just 1 page each day. These small actions may seem insignificant in the moment, but compounded over time, they create massive results. More importantly, they build the muscle of discipline. Every time you follow through, you reinforce the belief that you are a disciplined person. Another key to discipline is structure. When you leave your day unplanned, distractions and laziness easily creep in. But when you schedule your habits into your calendar like important appointments, you reduce the chance of skipping them. Treat your commitments to yourself with the same seriousness as commitments to others. If you wouldn't cancel a meeting with your boss at the last minute, why cancel a meeting with your future self? Discipline grows when you respect your own goals enough to make them non-negotiable. Accountability also strengthens discipline. It's easy to break promises to yourself in private, but much harder when others are involved. Share your goals with a trusted friend, coach, or mentor who will hold you to a higher standard. Surround yourself with people who live with discipline because their consistency will inspire you to rise to their level. Remember, success is contagious when you're in the right environment. Of course, discipline doesn't mean you'll be perfect. Everyone slips at times. The difference between disciplined people and undisciplined ones is how quickly they recover. A disciplined person doesn't allow one bad day to turn into a bad week or month. They get back on track immediately because they understand that consistency over time matters far more than perfection. It's not about never failing, it's about refusing to quit. Ultimately, discipline is freedom. At first, it may feel like discipline is restrictive, as if you're forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. But over time, you realize that discipline frees you from procrastination, regret, and wasted potential. Discipline allows you to wake up each day knowing you're moving toward your biggest goals. It gives you confidence because you trust yourself to follow through. It builds momentum, and momentum creates results that motivation alone could never deliver. So if you want to achieve your biggest goals, don't chase motivation. Build discipline. Train yourself to show up daily, no matter what you feel. Start small, stay consistent, and grow stronger with every habit you master. Let your actions be driven not by temporary excitement, but by an unshakable commitment to your vision. In the end, discipline will carry you farther than motivation ever could, because discipline doesn't depend on how you feel today. It depends on who you decide to become every day. Time is the most valuable resource you have, yet it is also the most easily wasted. Money lost can be earned again. Opportunities missed may come back, but the minutes and hours you let slip away can never be recovered. Mastering time management is not about cramming more into your day. It's about prioritizing what truly matters and aligning your daily actions with your biggest goals. The people who achieve extraordinary success are not necessarily smarter or more talented than others. They are simply better at directing their time toward the things that matter most. The first step in mastering time management is recognizing that not all tasks are created equal. Many people spend their days being busy, but not productive. They check emails, scroll through social media, handle minor chores, and react to other people's demands. But at the end of the day, they have not moved any closer to their dreams. Being busy feels satisfying in the moment because it gives the illusion of progress, but only focusing on your highest priorities creates real results. To master your time, you must separate what is urgent from what is important. Urgent tasks scream for your attention, but important tasks build your future. The key is to discipline yourself to work on what truly matters before everything else. One effective strategy is to identify your big three. Each day, the 3 tasks that, if completed, will make the biggest difference in your progress. When you wake up, instead of letting your day be controlled by randomness or distraction, decide in advance what those 3 things will be. Write them down and commit to completing them before anything else. By focusing on the most impactful tasks, you create momentum and move your life forward with clarity. Another crucial part of time management is learning to say no. Every yes you give is also a no to something else, often something more important. Many people struggle with this because they don't want to disappoint others, but the truth is, every minute you give away to something that doesn't align with your vision is a minute stolen from your own goals. Saying no is not selfish. It is a form of self-respect. It means valuing your time enough to use it wisely. Distractions are one of the biggest enemies of effective time management. Constantly switching between tasks lowers productivity and drains energy. To combat this, use time blocking. Dedicate specific periods of your day to focused work, where you eliminate all interruptions and give your full attention to one task. During these blocks, turn off notifications, silence your phone, and make it clear to others that you are unavailable. By working in focused sprints, you accomplish more in less time than if you try to multitask. Rest is also an essential part of time management. Many people mistakenly believe that working longer hours means getting more done. In reality, productivity declines when you neglect rest, and burnout steals both your energy and creativity. Successful people understand that managing time includes scheduling recovery. Sleep, exercise, and relaxation are not wasted time. They are investments that recharge your mind and body so you can perform at your best. Another powerful way to maximize your time is to delegate. You don't have to do everything yourself. Many tasks can be handled by others, freeing you to focus on the areas where you add the most value. Delegation is not about laziness, it's about efficiency. By letting go of tasks that don't require your unique strengths, you gain back hours that can be directed toward your biggest goals. It's also important to review how you spend your time regularly. At the end of each week, reflect on what you accomplished and where you wasted time. Be honest with yourself. Did you spend too much time on distractions? Did you allow other people's priorities to take over your own? This reflection helps you adjust and improve, ensuring you are always moving in the right direction. Ultimately, mastering time management comes down to intentional living. Every day you are given 24 hours, the same as everyone else. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't lies in how they use those hours. When you prioritize your most important tasks, eliminate distractions, say no to what doesn't serve you, and protect your energy through rest, you create a life of focus and progress. Time is life. To waste time is to waste life itself. But when you learn to manage it well, you gain control over your destiny. You stop being a victim of busyness and become the architect of your future. Every day becomes an opportunity to invest in your dreams. And when you consistently choose to use your time wisely, those small daily investments compound into extraordinary achievements. That is the true power of mastering time management. Setbacks are an unavoidable part of any meaningful journey. No matter how carefully you plan, how disciplined you are, or how focused you remain, life will present you with obstacles. Things will go wrong, people will let you down, opportunities may slip through your fingers, and sometimes you will fail despite giving your best effort. Many people allow setbacks to define them. They take failure as a sign that they are not capable, not worthy, or not meant to succeed. But the truth is, setbacks are not the end of the road. They are stepping stones. Resilience is the ability to take those setbacks, learn from them, and turn them into fuel that propels you closer to your biggest goals. When you face a setback, your first instinct may be to feel discouraged or defeated. That's natural because your mind associates failure with loss. But resilient people view failure differently. They understand that failure is feedback. It teaches them what didn't work, highlights areas that need improvement, and provides lessons that can't be learned any other way. In fact, some of the greatest successes in history were built on foundations of failure. Thomas Edison famously said he didn't fail 1,000 times when inventing the light bulb. He simply found 1,000 ways that didn't work. Each attempt brought him closer to success because he refused to see failure as final. Resilience is not about ignoring pain or pretending everything is fine. It's about acknowledging the difficulty but refusing to let it stop you. It's the mindset that says, "This setback may have slowed me down, but it will not break me." Every obstacle becomes an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more determined. Without resilience, even small setbacks can derail a person's journey. With resilience, even the biggest failures become fuel for the fire of determination. One of the keys to resilience is shifting your perspective. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What is this teaching me? How can I use this experience to become better?" That change in perspective transforms failure from a burden into a blessing. It takes you out of the victim mindset and places you into the driver's seat of your own growth. When you believe that everything you encounter has the potential to teach you something valuable, no experience is wasted. Another aspect of resilience is emotional control. Setbacks often trigger frustration, anger, or even self-pity. While these emotions are normal, dwelling on them keeps you stuck. Resilient people feel the emotion but don't live in it. They channel their energy into solutions, into the next step forward, rather than into complaining or giving up. This ability to regulate emotions is a powerful advantage because it keeps you moving when others stall. Support systems also play a vital role in resilience. Even the strongest individuals sometimes struggle to get back up after a fall. Having mentors, friends, or family who encourage you and remind you of your strengths can make a huge difference. Surrounding yourself with people who believe in you helps you regain belief in yourself during difficult times. Resilient people don't try to handle everything alone. They lean on others for perspective and strength, and in turn, they inspire others by their example. Resilience also requires patience. Setbacks often delay progress, and it can be frustrating when things don't move as quickly as you hoped. But success is rarely a straight line. More often, it's a winding path filled with detours and delays. Resilient people understand this, so they stay committed even when progress feels slow. They don't measure success by how easy the journey is, but by how consistent they remain in the face of challenges. The beauty of resilience is that it builds character. Every time you overcome a setback, you become stronger, more confident, and more capable of handling the next challenge. Over time, you develop an unshakable belief in yourself, a belief that no matter what happens, you will find a way forward. That confidence is what separates those who achieve their biggest goals from those who quit along the way. Ultimately, setbacks are not the enemy. They are part of the process. The question is not whether you will face them, but how you will respond when they come. Will you allow them to crush your spirit, or will you use them as fuel to rise even higher? Resilience ensures that every failure becomes a lesson, every obstacle becomes an opportunity, and every detour still leads you toward your destination. When you develop resilience, you stop fearing failure because you know it cannot defeat you. You recognize that setbacks may slow your progress, but they cannot stop your destiny unless you give them permission to. And when you keep rising after every fall, you become unstoppable. Your resilience becomes your superpower, turning every challenge into a stepping stone on the path to your greatest achievements. One of the most overlooked parts of staying focused and achieving your biggest goals is learning how to celebrate progress along the way. Too often, people set a massive goal for themselves and convince their minds that they will only feel happy once they achieve the final result. While ambition is important, that mindset creates an endless chase where fulfillment is always delayed. The truth is, success is not just about reaching the finish line. It's about appreciating and acknowledging the journey. Celebrating progress keeps you motivated, reminds you of how far you've come, and gives you the energy to keep moving forward. When you only focus on the end result, the journey can feel overwhelming. Big goals often take months or years to achieve, and during that time, it's easy to get discouraged. You might start asking yourself, why isn't this happening faster? Or am I even making progress at all? That's why recognizing small wins is so powerful. Each step you complete is proof that you are moving in the right direction. It may not be the ultimate victory, but it is evidence that you are closer today than you were yesterday. That evidence builds confidence, and confidence fuels persistence. Celebrating progress also rewires your brain for success. Human beings are motivated by rewards. When you acknowledge your achievements, no matter how small, you release positive emotions that reinforce the behavior. Your brain learns to associate effort with satisfaction, which makes you more likely to stay consistent. On the other hand, if you only criticize yourself for not being there yet, you create a negative association with effort, and your motivation eventually fades. By celebrating milestones, you train your mind to enjoy the process instead of resenting it. Celebrating progress doesn't always have to mean throwing a big party or buying something expensive. It can be as simple as taking a moment to reflect on what you accomplished, writing it down in a journal, or sharing your progress with someone who supports you. Sometimes even pausing to say, "I did that and I'm proud of myself," is enough. The key is not how big the celebration is, but that you acknowledge the progress. This creates momentum because it reminds you that your efforts are paying off, even if you haven't reached the ultimate goal yet. Another important reason to celebrate progress is that it prevents burnout. Chasing big goals often requires hard work, sacrifice, and long hours of focus. Without moments of joy along the way, the process can feel draining, and you may begin to resent the very goal you once felt excited about. Taking time to celebrate helps you recharge emotionally and mentally. It gives you a sense of balance, reminding you that the journey itself can be enjoyable, not just the destination. This balance is what keeps you going when others give up. Celebrating progress also changes the way you see yourself. Every time you acknowledge a win, you reinforce the identity of being someone who follows through, someone who is capable, and someone who is moving closer to success. This is especially powerful when you face setbacks. Instead of focusing only on what went wrong, you remind yourself of what has gone right. That perspective keeps you from slipping into self-doubt and helps you stay focused on your larger vision. It's also important to celebrate progress because it inspires others. When you share your milestones, you not only remind yourself of your growth, but also show people around you what is possible. Your progress becomes proof that consistent effort works, and that proof may motivate someone else to pursue their own goals. Success leaves clues, and by acknowledging your journey, you leave a trail of encouragement for others to follow. At the same time, celebrating progress keeps you humble. It reminds you that success is not just one giant leap, but a series of small, intentional steps. You realize that greatness is built daily, through habits and persistence. This awareness keeps you grounded and focused on continuing the work, rather than becoming complacent after one achievement. The celebration isn't about stopping. It's about pausing to appreciate before moving forward again with renewed strength. Ultimately, celebrating progress is about gratitude. It's about being thankful for the growth you've experienced, the lessons you've learned, and the strength you've gained along the way. Gratitude transforms your perspective from one of scarcity, "I'm not there yet," to one of abundance, "Look how far I've come." That mindset shift makes the journey itself fulfilling, which means you win long before you cross the finish line. So as you pursue your biggest goals, remember that success is not a single event in the future. It is a collection of moments along the way. Every small step forward matters. Every milestone deserves recognition. By celebrating your progress, you fuel your motivation, protect your energy, and remind yourself that the journey is worth it. And when you look back years from now, you'll realize that those small celebrations were not just pauses on the path. They were the moments that gave you the strength to finish the race and achieve the life you once only dreamed of.